Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, it is time. Are you ready? We got hardball. We got Sweet 16. You got about everything you need, don't you?
What
else in America? We're in America. Is this a great country or what? That's my question for you.
It is.
I mean, my goodness gracious.
Wonderful day.
We got it all. Hays Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School.
Beautiful weather to go on top of it all.
On top of all that, of course, we're indoors, but a beautiful weather outdoors. So I'm ready for all of it. I'm ready for the hardball, and I'm jacked for tonight. Are you jacked for tonight?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you're 4 wins away from the national championship. So, yeah, I mean, this is, is not quite, I guess, as big as it can get, but it's a 9.7, on a scale of 10. So, I'm fired up. I think it's going to be a good night for the Gators. Maryland is incredibly talented. And if Maryland can stay out of foul trouble, then I think they've got a great chance to pull off the upset. They're almost, in some ways, kind of they're not constructed the same way, but in terms of how efficient they are, they're kind of a poor man's Florida because they're very balanced. They're not quite as effective on both sides of the ball, but offensively and defensively, Maryland is very good in both. They're some of these teams are maybe tilted one way or another, but Maryland is a very well-balanced team. It's just going to be a question of can they get by with what they've done all year, which is basically just play 5 guys.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And I think the depth thing is that's the story of the game. Is can Florida wear them down from a depth standpoint? We'll certainly know that as we'll certainly track it today. And I'm just very excited about all of it. I'm excited about the baseball. JJ, excited about the Braves. The Atlanta Braves are playing today. Have you heard?
I am. That's the same place where they ended the season. They start the season, which I don't like.
How about
Got
that?
PTSD.
How about that? Hays Carlyon from the Bowl School. You didn't know that, did you?
I did not, but I fully expect this organization to win 108 games this year.
So let me kind of set the scene for you for today's program. We have some of our normal Thursday stuff. Our friend Lee Smith from the Players Championship, the executive director, and our golf analyst will be with us, scheduled now for 4:20 by phone. We expect to have Lee in here, and so we'll certainly check with him. He's got a Players Championship stuff going on, of course, so he's not going to be here in person, but he'll be here. We'll certainly look at take a look back at the Valspar and certainly talk a little bit about the world of golf and where we're headed in golf is that we get closer and closer to the Masters. That's certainly right around the corner. So we'll have that conversation today with Lee Smith. I look forward to that. Brett Hastings comes by a little bit later, 4:40 or so. Sports and Courts. The NCAA has weighed in on the Diego Pavia thing, which I think is really interesting. So I think they've weighed in on that. So he's got a thought on where that's going to head. And are we going to get to the day where junior college doesn't count against your eligibility, which I think would be, whether you like it or not, it'd be interesting as heck, wouldn't it, if we land there?
I think we could get to a day where you're eligible for as long as they'll have
You've always said that. You've always said you just play as long as you want to play. I'd be surprised if we go that far, but it'll be interesting. It really will be interesting to see where this whole thing lands.
Hey, education is a lifetime pursuit.
I've always said you're a purist.
Yes.
I've always believed that. So
the Socratic method.
So we'll see. And here's one other thing, and we're going to ask our guests to be flexible. We know they will. My friend Chris Harry is in San Francisco. He's at the team meal right now, and he's going to check in with us at some point. Now, he's got so many of these radio things to do and some assignments for his real job to do that he's not sure exactly when he's going to be able to check in. But at some point today, we're going to hear from my friend Chris Harry from San Francisco when he gets a moment or two to join us. So we're hopefully going to try and do that at some point. Just kind of an overview of where the Gators are, how they feel, the whole bit. And I think it's going to be an awful lot of fun to watch or to watch tonight.
Well,
and hear him talk about it.
It's been such a unique road trip because what are the odds that they would go to the same city that Todd Golden was the coach at before taking the Florida job? I mean, the odds are almost astronomical.
Right.
And so it's become almost it's definitely become a homecoming for Todd Golden, who left on great terms. And so he's been welcomed back, and he hasn't been gone that long. So I think it's been cool for Golden to see, Chris Harry wrote a fantastic story about it. And, Golden lived just like a block away from the arena. So where Florida practiced on Tuesday is right where Golden was living when he was the head coach at San Francisco. And he took the players to, a couple of the local spots in terms of restaurants, but also cool touristy things. They obviously went into that field near the Golden Gate Bridge and put some stuff up on social, pictures from that. So it's almost felt like a bowl trip,
right?
Which you almost never have in the NCAA tournament. But I think it's had that feel because the head coach is so familiar with where they are. And so, yeah, it's been really unique. If it kind of feels like stars are aligning, it almost feels like everything's too perfect, to be honest. You've got the Maryland coach, Kevin Willard, who basically has said, I'm leaving for Villanova the second this game is over or whenever our season is over. So he's trying to say the right things like, hey, we want to win a championship. That's the priority. But like everybody knows, like if Maryland loses tonight, he is going to take the Villanova job tomorrow morning.
It's the worst. I say worst kept secret. It's not even a secret,
right?
Everybody just knows.
It seems like you've got all these intangible things that really favor Florida, and Florida's the higher seed. But in sports, when it looks too good to be true, sometimes it is. So, there's definitely trepidation on how it will go tonight. But boy, from a kismet standpoint, I mean, it seems like at least for these next two games, I mean, it seems like it's the dream come true for Todd Golden.
Yeah, I really and look, I might be terribly wrong, and they might get beaten or blasted or whatever by Maryland. Maryland's got a good team, and there's only good teams left now. I don't think there's any debating that. Well, I think we all know there's only good teams left. But having said that, I do believe Florida's going to play well tonight. I think they got Hays. I think they got that out of their system, man. I really believe they got the whole look. They were nervous. They didn't like playing the defending champions. The defending champions, there's something to that. There's something to teams that are used to going very deep every year, and all their players know it. They're trainers. They're equipment managers. They know how to go to these tournaments, and nobody knows better than UConn. They won the last two titles, so that's real. And you're playing it, and they're tough, and they've got a toughness about them. And for that reason, this was going to be very real, man. This battle was going to be, nobody was going to debate that. It was going to be very real. And I think that got in their heads. Well, that's over. If they lose tonight, there's no aura. There's no having to beat the team that knows how to be there. There's nothing like that. If they lose tonight, they're going to lose tonight because they get outplayed by a better team. And I don't think Maryland's a better team. So I think the weight of the world's off their shoulders. I think they're going to play loose and free and easy. And I think they're awfully good when they play that way. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. Again, look at Florida's numbers. I mean, they are third in the nation in scoring offense at 85.4 a game. They're second in the nation in fast break points per game at 16.5 because of those electric guards and really the bigs, how fast the bigs get down the floor, how gifted they are in terms of their hands and their coordination, finishing. Florida's ninth in rebound at +8 a game. And they're 27th in the nation in three-pointers made per game at 9.9. So, I mean, they're about as good as you can be, from a college basketball standpoint. And you would certainly think that with all the different lineups that Golden can throw at Maryland, I think also it helps you scouting-wise when you pretty much know only 5 guys are playing significant minutes for Maryland by design. Now, they have a couple guys they will play. But it's primarily the 5 starters. How does that not greatly help you from a scouting perspective? I mean, it's not like you have to worry about a myriad of combinations. They pretty much just do one thing, whereas with Florida, really with any team, I'd be surprised if any of these other 15 teams in the Sweet 16 are as reliant on their starters as Maryland is. Right. You almost just never see this, unless it's like I said, unless it's like a 13 seed who, just ended up with 3 or 4 great players and everybody else is very average beyond that. So the coach just doesn't go to his bench at all because he just doesn't have the depth. But for a program like Maryland to be so reliant, it's really striking. And so I think it makes it easier to prepare for him too if you're Golden and his staff because you know exactly what you're going to get. I mean, to prepare for Florida, you've got to have a very good plan for Houck and Aberdeen and Hanlogden and even Clavzar. Because if you don't scout Clavzar and you give him room, he hasn't done much lately. But tonight it wouldn't surprise me if Urban Clavzar hit a couple of threes. Of
course not. I don't think it surprised anybody. Number one, he's a pretty good player, and I think he got kind of got that out of his system too. The I haven't done it yet before. Don't you think? I think he had that. All right. He was a little bit not shell shocked, but there was a little of that in there, I thought, and I think that's out of his system now for sure.
Yeah, and Golden even alluded to that it was a big them going to Raleigh, playing in the NCAA tournament. Again, particularly for a kid like Klavzar who's never really experienced anything like that. I think it showed. I mean, he was a negative really in both games. And but I agree with you. I think he's a pretty good player. I don't think he should ever be a starter at Florida, but I think he's a very good rotational player because of how well he shoots the ball. And so there's just so many things you've got to be prepared for on Maryland's side. On Florida's side, there really isn't that much. And I have to think the priority is going to be, feed the bigs inside, try to get Queen and company into some foul trouble, and have your guards, instead of maybe taking the three early, pump fake it, drive inside, try and draw some contact. Greg Sankey talked about this before the tournament began. The SEC officials call a looser game than traditionally what happens in the NCAA tournament. Usually in the tournament, it's a tighter called game for whatever reason. And they've got data that backs that up. And so they sent out a memo to every SEC team that was going to make the NCAA tournament saying, be prepared for this. Be prepared for a tight whistle. And I think if you're a Florida fan, you're hoping for that tonight, because if it's tight and both teams have 12 fouls in the first half, that is going to probably cripple Maryland, where with Florida, it wouldn't be ideal, but they can easily manage it. I mean, not easily maybe, but they can certainly get around having some guys with 2 or 3 fouls as the second half begins. I'm not sure Maryland can do that, but they've been great. The Terrapins have been fantastic at not drawing fouls throughout the entire year. So how they do it, I don't know. We'll see tonight.
And for finding a way to win the game. They find a way to win the game. So we'll certainly see. So we got a lot to talk about today in the program. Glad we'll update you on baseball scores throughout the course of the day. Braves and Padres are underway. We'll certainly give you that. We know there's a lot of Braves fans in the area, so we'll do all that as well today. Again, Chris Harry, hopefully from San Francisco at some point. Brett Hastings in about a half an hour. But when we come back, let's say hello to our friend Lee Smith. He'll be checking in by phone from the Players' Championship. We'll do our golf update after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Choose your social channel. Twitter at 1010XL. Facebook at 1010XL. Instagram at 1010XL. TikTok at 1010XL. YouTube at 1010XL. 1010XL is there.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Plumbing problem? AC acting up? Septic tank trouble? Don't waste time calling 3 different companies. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We offer plumbing, septic, and air conditioning services, making it easy for you to work with one trusted company and one simple build. Every department has highly skilled experts trained for the job. For fast, reliable service from a company that does it all the right way, call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com.
where Blue Bloods and Cinderellas come together to dance.
Now on until the end of the season, I don't want you to think about anything but basketball.
Tune in for live updates on 1010XL.
Served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control. Oh!
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails, all in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Corona Premier, a light beer with just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. The premier side of life. For those that are active and on the go, pick some up the next time you're heading out to enjoy the day under the sun. Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it and send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. JJ here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
All right, welcome back to the program on a Thursday. A lot to do today. Basketball coming up tonight. Baseball started right now. But let's talk a little golf. It's our weekly golf update. Our friend Lee Smith is the executive director of the Players Championship, but also our golf analyst who joins us each week, usually on Thursdays. Lee, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I mean, do we have to talk golf, baseball, basketball? I mean,
it's all going on.
Yeah, this is a fun day.
Yeah, you better believe it is on so many fronts, and we'll keep people abreast of all of it. But first of all, how'd you do in the member guest last week? Let's don't bury the lead here. How'd you and Pop do?
You know what? It's funny. Got off to a really, really good start. Drove down there, ended up driving down there Thursday morning. Got off to a really good start. Won our first two matches, and then that was kind of where we peaked. Frank, the second day and the third day, I think we ran out of gas. We ended up finishing third in our flight, but had a blast spending time with mom and dad. And sharing a few cocktails, a few dinners, and hadn't spent time with him in a while, so it was fun.
Well, that's awesome. And anytime you can be with your dad and your family, that's awesome stuff. Across the state, Victor Hovland was winning. I always say this, it's cliche, I suppose, but golf's better when guys you know of and remember as they rise win. Boy, it's been a weird deal for him. Even after the win, I know you probably saw this, Lee. He was talking about how he wasn't very confident and he doesn't expect to play well. But he won the Valspar, which meant he won at a really tough golf course. What'd you make of Hovland finding a way to win last week?
Yeah, I think it just shows the raw talent, Frank, that a player like that has. That there's even a difference between a professional golfer and an elite professional golfer, and just like there is in other sports, I think he's one of those that with his B+ or A- game, or when he doesn't feel perfect. He can still win against a good field and tame a quality golf course. I mean, I think he's just that good. He got the putter rolling, and certainly, hit it off the tee a little crooked. But I think in the end, for somebody that talented to defeat a field is pretty amazing.
Lee, I'm really starting to buy into Justin Thomas's resurrection of his elite status. He's now played 8 events. He's made the cut in all 8. He's been top 25 in half of those events, and he's been the runner-up twice. And obviously had a chance last week. Hovland just edges him by a stroke, but JT played very well on Sunday. How do you assess his game as we get now a couple weeks away from Augusta?
Well, I think he might be the number 1 player in the world in simulator golf. Hays. For those that have caught TGL, he's really, really good there. And I don't know if that, if there's a connection there of just, staying sharp and that type of thing. But I think it goes back to Frank's point. You see TV ratings are up. You see the stars shining from tournament to tournament, international stars, American stars. And Justin is one of those. Jordan's game seems like it's trending well. Hopefully Scotty is starting to play well. So I agree with you. I think him getting into to big time tournament season from April to August is certainly is a bright spot for Justin and some of the other stars that are playing well right now.
So for people that follow the schedule, to Hays' point, we have 2 weeks. Okay, we got Houston, we got Valero. Right now, Lee, do the great players, are they tune-ups for the Masters? Do some sit out a couple tournaments as they get ready and get to Augusta early? And I know we got a lot of time to talk about Augusta, but what are the next 2 weeks like for most of these guys, or a lot of these guys, as we get closer and closer to the Masters?
Yeah, I think it depends on your preference, Frank. There is some players that use the Houston Open as well as Valero and how they set up those golf courses to be firm and fast, and the greens playing fast, those types of things, similar types of grasses, with some of them, that they want to keep the nice sharp and kind of play their way in to major season or to Augusta. But then there's others that see the put a premium on rest and put a premium on getting to Augusta early and not necessarily playing competitive or getting more competitive reps, but just maybe playing the golf course. And I think you can take a look at somebody like Rory who wants to play this week. I think, if I remember, he took a trip to Augusta on his way to Houston. Now he's going to play Houston to kind of keep the competitive reps up, probably sit out next week, and then, go into Augusta with a week's rest. I think you'll see everybody's just a little bit different as to what works for them and maybe what works, how familiar the great thing about Augusta, similar to TPC Sawgrass, is that the golf course doesn't change. You're on the same, so you don't have a massive amount of learning of the facility that you need headed in. So every player is just a little bit different. But I think you can see whether they're playing competitively this week or next week or not as to kind of how they prefer to spend those last couple weeks.
Yeah, Lee, I thought it was interesting that Rory went to Augusta because they host the Masters every year. I understand it when it's like a U.S. Open or a PGA and it's a different venue maybe than what you're accustomed to, or it's a venue maybe that you haven't played at in several years. But what do you think a player like Rory, who obviously is, I mean, this has to be his, 15th Masters start, somewhere in there, I would imagine. What do you think he's looking to get out of that experience, going to scout for a day at the Masters prior to going out to Houston?
Yeah, I think a couple of things, Hays. I think he probably going there maybe a little bit under the radar, so that the spotlight's not on you, that I can get out there. Obviously, this being the event that he needs to kind of close that Grand Slam, maybe to do it outside of that spotlight and a little bit in the shadows to play the golf course. And then secondly, I think, I don't know who he played with, but selecting maybe and going up there and playing with some members that are really familiar, or a couple of the really, really good playing members that he can just get another nugget or two as to, how the golf course has been playing and those types of things, I think is probably the advantage. My guess is that he probably didn't learn a massive amount new, but to go up there kind of on your own and not in the spotlight, I think can certainly be valuable to somebody like Rory.
All right, final thing. Tell us a little bit about Memorial Park in Houston, what to expect. Tell us a little bit about the event, Lee, if you would, please.
Yeah, ultimately, I think they ended up with almost half of the top 50 official world golf rankings in the field. So a really good field for, 2 weeks prior to Augusta. I think the tournament's been played there, now maybe a half a dozen years. Jim Crane, that's involved with the Astros, is really, really involved in that golf tournament and the Children's Hospital there. But the golf course really, tends to replicate a little bit about Augusta. It won't look similar on TV, but just playing conditions, firm, green speed, those types of things is why, some of those players will get some competitive reps on a golf course that will be similar to Augusta. I think you see just in this early first round that you've got some new names up there at the leaderboard, which will be fun to watch heading into the weekend. And certainly I expect to see some of the stars start to, put their 3, 4, 5 unders on the board as it gets to the weekend and maybe trend towards the top as well.
I got to tell you, I know Minwoo Lee, but and maybe that's my fault. Boy, there's names at the top I don't know very well. I mean, I guess that's really where we are now, isn't it? That there are so many dang good players that you're going to look up and there's going to be a handful of guys that the common guy hasn't heard of that are winning these golf tournaments.
No doubt about it. I mean, you think about, what the college ranks are producing, what the developmental tours like the Korn Ferry Tour and the Americas Tour are producing, and kind of backfilling into the PGA Tour. And then there's, when you have events like this that maybe, only half of the top 50 are playing, that other half is going to be filled by really, really good players. There's not a massive leap between a really, really good player and an elite player. You're talking about half a shot a round type of thing. So yeah, it is great to see young talent. The guy Toasty that hits it forever, and I think we got introduced to him maybe at the PGA last year. It really will be a fun exercise as the season goes along to see the blend of the stars, and then certainly the young talent that'll be the stars in the next year or two.
All right, it's going to be fun to watch. Lee Smith, our golf analyst, and of course the executive director of the Players Championship, joins us every Thursday talking golf here on the program. Lee, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thanks very much, guys.
All right, Lee Smith talking golf. Nobody does it better. Gosh, he's a good golf analyst. All right, a little bit of an adjustment of our schedule. We're going to ask Brett Hastings to go right at 5 o'clock. So at the top of the hour, I want to get into this whole Diego Pavia junior college thing because I think it's important, but we're going to make a little adjustment because Chris Harry has a window to join us live from San Francisco. He was at that team dinner. He's ready to play. Chris Harry, nobody does a better job covering the Gators than Chris. He'll be with us after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, folks, you're looking for a better used car shopping experience? Well, you're going to find it at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Now, with Car Bravo at Nimnick, you'll get transparent pricing, the best value for your trade, and peace of mind. And now is the best time to shop certified used vehicles and to buy with confidence. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. Now with Car Bravo, Nimnick Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. That means Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. That's right, all makes, all models. And oh, by the way, trading in your old vehicle, don't forget who gives you the top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnick. So shop online and find out where you can find all those terrific used cars. Car Bravo certified dealership. That is Nimnick. Nimnick Buick GMC. Visit them today. That is Nimnick.
From the backyard to the ball yard. Let's have a ball. 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
When it's time for new tires, you can count on Big Chief Tire for quality and value. Frank Frangie here. Their expert team will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe, comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with great confidence. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Spring pickleball, tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? Hurry, time is running out. March is almost over. You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Sign up at sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services. And Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Come visit the best sports restaurant in town. That's Big Dogs in Orange Park, known for great burgers, huge wings, pizza, salads, and special nightly events like trivia and karaoke. You'll all love it at Big Dogs Restaurant in Orange Park.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
E.T. here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
With so many competitive pest services in town, you might wonder why Kingfish Pest Control's business is booming while similar companies seem to be struggling. It all comes down to service, affordability, and effectiveness. Kingfish Pest Control is a local family-owned company who delivers on their promises to effectively control pests like ants, spiders, roaches, termites, mosquitoes, and more, your home is their priority. So call today and discover why your neighbors and your buddy Hays Carlyon trust Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon with you as we move along. What a big night tonight in San Francisco for the Gators as they try to get to the Elite Eight. Chris Harry does a fantastic job covering that team. He joins us now. Where are you? Just under the Golden Gate Bridge? Where are you right now? The hotel? What are you doing?
We got a sight of the Golden Gate Bridge yesterday. We were at about a couple hours ago. We were at the shoot around at the arena, which is they built it. It's right on the bay, about a little bit south of where the baseball stadium is.
Yeah.
But right now I'm in my hotel room, just biding my time. I'm going to leave in about an hour.
All right. Well, let me say this before we get in.
It's weird. I mean, Frank, they're playing like this. Game starts at like 4:40 out here.
I know.
So
it's a weird time.
It's just bizarre. My biological clock has not been reset, but it's cool because the strength coach has had the team go out on these outings and walk around in the grass in bare feet.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah, with the grounding. They did it again today before the shoot around, and he says because of the 3-hour time change, it's like a kinetic kind of thing, some electrical energy from the grass that, helps reset, helps get, they're out there in the sun and stuff. Yeah. So it's a quick thing, but it's something different that they've been able to do. It's kind of fun to watch.
It is fun. Awesome. All right. Two things. First of all, I've known you 35 years. You're one of my dear friends in the business. Of all the years, I think the way you've chronicled this season is as good as I've ever seen. Picking the stories you've picked on a week-to-week basis. Chris, it's been a joy, bro. I mean that very sincerely. It's been a joy to
Man, that's
follow.
very, very nice to say. It's very nice to say coming from a fellow hack from back in the day.
It's just really been good. All right. Were they tight? I think playing the two-time champions matters. I think playing a team that knows how to be in that tournament matters because Florida didn't play well for a while. What was your assessment of the early struggles and how they kind of found themselves in that game?
I got to go a little in both directions. I mean, obviously, we can talk about Dan Hurley and being a jackass or what he is, but I mean, the guy's a great coach, and the system they run very complicated sets. Okay, the actions they run are very hard to deal with, especially a team that wants to aggressively switch the way Florida does. They got them in dilemmas, and they got some easy baskets, and frankly, they missed a lot of threes.
Yeah,
and I think they missed 21 in the game. And so if some of those wide open threes had gone down, especially in the first half, then things would have been, I think, even more dicey than they probably were. And I go back to the first half, Frank, where Florida turned the ball over 8 times in the first half. UConn didn't score 1 point off a turnover. Mm-hmm. So there's another kind of break that they got. But you asked, were they tight? Yeah, admittedly they were. And pressure, number 1 seed pressure is different than number 8 seed pressure. Okay, because I mean that's just obvious because all of a sudden you start feeling, man, we're down 6 again, and we're the number 1 seed. I got to make a 5-point shot to get us back in this game. But they kind of just gathered themselves, man, and that starts at the top. And when I say at top, I mean the coach and the best player on the court, and that's Walter. And Todd settled him, got him settled on the sidelines, and Walt got him settled from the 3-point line, you might say.
Hey, Chris, it's Hays. I agree with Frank.
Hey.
Your stories have been so much fun to read, and I thought the one that you did on Todd Golden's homecoming was spectacular as well. How unique is this trip been? It almost feels like a bowl trip more than an NCAA tournament because the head coach has such a great familiarity with the area.
Yeah, and I don't want it to seem like, and I saw a couple people react on a tweet, quit sightseeing and work on Maryland. It's like they're not doing that, okay?
Right.
we're staying in a hotel about 20 blocks away from where he coached at the University of San Francisco. It's a natural place for them to go and practice. Okay, and they did that once the day we got here on Tuesday. I'm losing time here.
Yeah.
But the last couple practices have been at the arena where they're going to play. He took them out to dinner at his favorite restaurant that he had when he was here. They go out to dinner when they're on the road in Starkville or Tuscaloosa. So that's not unusual either. It's just you're in a big city now. And I think Florida in the history of the program has only played 4 or 5 games, period, in the state of California, if you can believe that.
Wow.
I was going to go back and check on that. So, and obviously San Francisco is one of those picturesque cities in the world. So, why not take them out and drive them around a little bit? And there's no hurting that. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Smith, his mentor from time, the guy whose place Todd took at the University of San Francisco, was at practice yesterday. I imagine Randy Bennett, the guy he played for at St. Mary's, that's about an hour, maybe 30 minutes east of Oakland. I imagine he'll be at the game today. But a homecoming for him. He's probably had to deal with some tickets, but his wife's here, probably dealing with that. But he's enjoyed it. He was going to enjoy it, and I think the guys have enjoyed it alongside him.
You're around them every game, home and away. You're at every shoot-around. I mean, no one's with them more than you other than the staff. Do you sense they're loose? Do you sense they're ready? Can you even sense that stuff these days, Chris? What do you think about where these guys are?
I mean, it's the same. I just went down to the team meal, and I turned the hallway. I was like 2 hallways away. I could hear they have this one of the assistant coaches, Kevin Hovde, who just got the Columbia job. Mm-hmm. He has this playlist, and they boom it during their team meals all the time. Right. And you can hear him, and there was chatter and everything. It wasn't like, I tell you what, when we get on the bus and we'll drive there, it'll be quiet.
Right.
It really was last week going to the UConn game, but we're going to both games actually. They're not going to make it. They're going to try to not make it any bigger than it is. It's a game, and they're ready to play Maryland. Maryland's a really good team, man. They got 5 great starters. They don't have a lot of depth. Florida's going to try to use their depth, which is significant, obviously, to try to get into Maryland starters. And if they can't, then it's it could be trouble. It could be a dogfight, but it could look a lot like the game last week. But Florida's obviously battle tested. I want to say their last 8 of their last 10 games have been basically quote unquote quad 1 games. This will be another one, and the Maryland's got 3 outstanding 3-point shooters and 2 excellent bigs, including Derek Queen, who I saw him as high as projected as a 5th player in the NBA draft this year. He's only a freshman.
Absolutely, and Maryland is much better at the free throw line, and they're much better in terms of turnover margin. So a couple things that have been, for a team as dominant as Florida has been, free throw shooting at times has been an issue, and certainly turnovers have been an issue. So is that the ball game tonight? If Florida can protect the ball and the turnovers are even and the free throw shooting is even, Florida probably wins the game comfortably?
Well, that sounds good and everything. I mean, Florida obviously didn't shoot the free throws very well at all. I think, they missed 12 in the second half.
Right.
Now, having said that, the game before, I think they shot 83% from the free throw line. And I think in some of their SEC tournament games, they were into the 80s. Just they can avoid Alex Condon getting fouled because he's been a problem at the free throw line, and he knows that. And it's not that he doesn't work on them. You get these people, do they ever work on free throws? No, they never work on free throws. They eschew them. They don't even try to shoot free throws. You cannot replicate free throws in an NCAA tournament, right, or any game for that matter. You got to do the best you can to replicate some element of pressure or whatever. But will it come down to that? I guess it could. If it's a close game, free throws, of course, are going to matter. But ball security, I'm sure the Gators want to be on it a lot better than they were the other day. They fixed it at halftime. I think they only had 3 turnovers in the second half of the UConn game.
I will tell you this. I think normally I'd say who's the key guy. Obviously Clayton's their best player. But, Chris, I think there's 7 or 8 key guys. I think one thing that stands out to me when I love that 94 team. And you know that. You and I have had that talk 1,000 times. It's probably my favorite team I ever covered, because I got to know Dan Cross and Craig Brown really well, and I was close to Lon. But I thought that team, I know Brown made the 3 shots of the curl against Boston College, but I thought that team, anybody could beat you. And I think this team is more like that team. The 14 team was like that too, but Michael Frazier is still going to make 1,000 threes. And I think this team is as balanced in terms of getting – not balanced necessarily scoring, but getting big plays. I mean, Hal carried them for 2 weeks. Thomas Hal carried them for 2 weeks. I mean, Aberdeen when the guards were down for a while. So don't you feel that way that not only are they deep, they got a lot of players in their rotation, but they're deep in terms of guys who can make really, really big plays. Doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah, and you said that we talked about the 94 team before, and that's when I first started. That was early on into my, to what I would say my time, dealing with college basketball and whatever. I was a fan before, but being around it so much and knowing it. And this time of year, man, it's guards, and I looked at these 3 guards and what they've been able to do. I think they're averaging 51 points in the postseason. I was just like, Walt is at 21.6 points. This is just in the SEC and NCAA tournament. He's 48% from the floor. He's 51.1 from the 3-point line in 5 postseason games. Oh. I think it comes down. I think it comes down to those guys shooting the basketball. Now, Ruben Chinyelu is not going to beat you. He's going to beat up on you a little bit, and hopefully he can do that to Queen. But to your point about Thomas Houck, yes. Alex Condon struggled a little bit recently with some physicality of some teams. He's going to be challenged again today, but is he a guy who can have a big game? Yeah, he was SEC Player of the Week the last week of the season, I believe, for those great games he had at Alabama against Ole Miss on senior night. I don't know who's going to be tonight. My guess would be, Walt. Walt has the spotlight on him right now. There was a lot of questions in the press conference yesterday, including questions to Maryland, and they all refer to him as the college Steph Curry, and here he is playing in Steph Curry's building. So it's there's some irony in that, and I think wouldn't it be cool to see him have a night in that kind of setting?
Without a doubt. In terms of Derek Queen, how do you think Golden will go about trying to defend him? Because obviously he's got 4 really attractive options there.
He absolutely does. And the thing, hopefully Derek Queen, from the Gator standpoint, will be working so hard defensively because he's going to see more ball screens that he's going to have to deal with more of that. They haven't really played an offense like Florida in the Big Ten. Not that there aren't good Big Ten offenses. Michigan State is great. But Florida does a lot of things that can put that guy in to make him wear out a little bit, running around a little bit, trying to deal with what they're trying to do, the ball screens and the blitzing, because they're going to have to do that against Walt, or he needs a little bit of space. So that's the situation for Queen. I mean, at the other side, their other forward, and again, they're a lot like Florida in that they play 2 bigs and 3 guards that can really score. Julian Reese averages 9 rebounds a game. They got 3 shooters, 2 of them shooting 40% from 3-point line. The other shoots, I think, around 37%. It's a really good team, but like I said, after those first 5, that's why they're the crap 5. They don't have a whole lot of impact players. They have some good subs that come off, but they don't play a lot of minutes. So let's see where this game is at the under 8 timeout in the second half, and see, kind of like last week, if that isn't where Florida maybe can manage to start putting some distance between them and the Terps.
Chris, all the coaches moving around, does that affect the game? I mean, Kevin Willard, everyone's mad at him now because he's probably going to Nova. Florida's losing a couple assistants. Does that affect this game at all? Are we overthinking that?
It's incredible because I was in a Washington radio show today and a Baltimore radio show today, and I was listening to their shows before I came on.
Right.
And these fans calling and just irate about what's going on with Kevin Willard. Yeah. And we're 3,000 miles away. I wasn't even that aware of it until I read it to some in the papers today, or read it on the line. So it's just, and hearing the fans kind of talk about it, but they're not talking about it out here. So I just think when the ball comes up, when the ball's thrown up, that kind of goes by the wayside. Maryland's going to compartmentalize. Florida's going to compartmentalize, and the best team's going to win. It might even be a first team to 80 kind of game.
All right, Florida and Maryland, Sweet 16 game, trying to get to the Elite 8, one step away from the Final Four. Chris Harry, all year long, you've been reading him on FloridaGators.com. Outstanding work. I mean that sincerely. Chris, I know you're busy today, bro. Thanks for spending some time with us. Have fun tonight, man. We'll talk to you.
Thanks, man. If they're still alive, let's do it again next week.
We will do it for sure. I promise you we will. Thank you, Chris. Chris Harry, checking in from FloridaGators.com. And I mean what I told him, Hays. His work this year.
Oh, it's been outstanding.
I mean, it's always good. He's a pros pro. but you pick the right story, and he takes you down the journey of this player or that player, or I mean, it always so often starts with an anecdote about an anecdote that the post game locker room, or they were at the under 8 timeout, and it takes you through what happened in the game in a marvelous way. So I mean, he's really done a wonderful job on this. So we appreciate our friend Chris Harry.
I hope I get to read 4 more game previews after this one.
I'm rooting for it too, and he will be on with us next week if they keep it going. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, though, Brett Hastings kind enough to back up. He gets the 5 o'clock hour now. Diego Pavia looks like he's won his case, and if he has, does that mean junior college players will never again count against eligibility? It's a crazy, crazy story going on. Brett's going to break down the legalities after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
Didn't do much to impress out there today, did you?
The Drill.
You're a comedian. You make people laugh. I try. You think it's all a big joke, don't you?
Mornings on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go, Gators! The restaurant of the day is the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Get a Greek Feast family combo meal tray with chicken skewers, gyro meat, gulmades, and more. Feed 4 to 6 people for just $49.95. Feed 8 to 10 for just $99.95. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
What are the only 2 states that do not observe daylight saving time? The answer next.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The only 2 states that currently do not observe daylight saving time are Arizona and Hawaii.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by TopDressing.com. Springtime is here, which not only means beautiful weather, but it's also a sign that baseball is finally back. Today's opening day, and we've got some Florida Gators and Florida State Seminoles around the league. 6 former Noles have made opening day rosters this season, headlined by rookie third baseman Cam Smith, selected 14 overall by the Cubs in last year's draft, before being traded to the Astros, where he turned heads in spring training, earning himself an opening day roster spot. 11 former Gators will represent on opening day, highlighted by Mets first baseman and slugger Pete Alonso, only 8 home runs shy of the 200 mark. Also, Rangers starting right-hand pitcher Dane Dunning, a member of the Rangers' 2023 World Series championship team. It's 71 degrees at 4:58. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
What I respect most is you wore the Lucky Gator hat. That's going to keep victories happening.
That's right. This one's undefeated this season, so we are going to ride it till the end.
Look what the boss got us. Have you seen these hats?
I love it.
I'm jealous.
Our boss, Steve Griffin, he knows we had a bunch of Gator nuts in here. So not only is it a great Gator, it's a Gator basketball hat.
Yeah.
I told Steve, I said, if they win today, I'm playing golf in this on Saturday. This will be my.
That one's sharp. I'm not taking the lucky hat off, but
nor should you. But I'm going to play. This is my Saturday golf hat. If they find a way to win tonight, if they don't win, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. So, but we're very excited about it. Good to see you. How you doing? You all right?
Doing great.
Good. So when I first saw the whole Diego Pavia thing, for people that don't know, he's the Vanderbilt quarterback that transferred in from New Mexico, I think, and then his eligibility is up. But stop me if I get this wrong or correct me afterwards. But he appealed that his junior college year shouldn't count.
Correct.
Won the appeal, so now gets to keep playing college athletics. Brett, does that mean that we are headed for a world?
He has not won the appeal.
He is okay. My bad.
So he went.
What happened then?
He filed for an injunction in federal court.
Okay.
A federal court in Tennessee agreed with him and granted him eligibility. So a week or two ago, the NCAA filed an appeal. So it's now up to the appellate court and said we do not agree. And the biggest thing that we've talked about to truly change the landscape of college athletics is the O'Bannon case, the House case, and these others have gotten back to the one thing that we talk the most about in sports that I think everybody goes, what is that? Antitrust, right? Which is anti-monopoly. And they said the NCAA has created this monopoly and didn't allow players to profit from their name, image, and likeness. So Pavia went in and said, look, my JUCO years shouldn't count. These regulations shouldn't count. They restrain me because they're antitrust violations because they're commercial in nature. The NCAA has said, wait a second. We can understand these other antitrust filings, but and this is true in some of the cases in the past, they found that eligibility rules aren't something that falls under antitrust. But I think they're going to lose this argument in the long term because now, everybody went to school and they got kind of close to the same comp, right? But a Pavia, a starting quarterback at a Southeastern Conference school, look at the money in basketball, and we think it's got to just start coming in baseball. Look at Carson Beck. He's probably going to realize more money this year than he would on his first-year contract in the NFL. So the NCAA obviously knows a federal judge said, hey, Pavia, you can play. So everybody else this year that falls in a similar situation has the opportunity for a waiver. But they're still trying to fight. And if they were to win on these appeals, then your JUCO years could count. But it's a big deal. And I think actually the academic institutions, and this is something we wouldn't have thought of before, but heck, if you're Florida, maybe develop some guys over at Santa Fe, right? Mm-hmm. If you're Florida State, go over and some guys that maybe go out to these other small schools, say, hey, come over to TCC, work out with us over here. And you can almost see JUCO becoming, to a certain extent, like a farm system. Right. Like if you want to be a Gator or somebody else, it's even better than redshirting. Because when you get in that first year, then you could redshirt and you could literally add years to the eligibility, which in the past you'd say, hey, guys want to get to the place of where they get pro. But if, reports are correct and the DJ Lagways of the world and the Carson Becks are making that type of money, that's a big deal not to lose. You come in as a freshman.
One more year you get to get paid.
Right. We talk all the time, why do you redshirt? Right? Because the coach wants the 22-year-old kid, not the 17-year-old kid. Well, you know what the kid wants? He don't want the $50,000 in the NIL because everybody thinks you're going to be a superstar. They want that $4.5 million.
So do you think Pavia will be able to play this fall?
Pavia.
He's already won
and
that
everybody will be able to play. While this is up on appeal, there is the injunction's in place. The injunction is in place for Pavia, and the NCAA there are other lawsuits that are being filed, right? Because that injunction specifically says, Pavia, you can play. Others were looking to it as precedent, so they don't have to run around to a whole bunch of cases and maybe get, differing opinions. The NCAA has said, okay, there'll be a waiver this year. This is the process that you have to file through while we're trying to get this figured out. But, I think more likely than not, there's a strong argument for that, just for the NCAA to say, it's not commercial in nature. I mean, there's a commercial effect to it.
Do you think ultimately junior college will not count? Where do you think ultimately this will be?
I do. The thing that's interesting, I was driving up here coming up from, our main office at the beach, and I was going by Florida State College, right? Well, it's a 4-year college now,
right?
But I don't believe they have athletics, right, that are greater than 2 years.
Right. The sports are 2 years.
Right. And so you would if those institutions, you would want to keep those 2 years, right? Because that could then be sort of a recruiting advantage for them. And, this is one of those things that I don't think there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are banking $4.5 million because of their JUCO years. But why don't we give young men and young women opportunities to stay in from an education standpoint? And guess what? If you did get your 2 years done at JUCO and you had 4 years there, you're probably going to have to go on and get a master's degree and do some other stuff to remain eligible. And I think that's just good for all involved.
I do too. I mean, I would like to see it treated like a prep school to where you can go for 2 years and then still have your 4 years of eligibility. Brett understands the legality of it, and the precedent would be, or the reason would be, to make more money, and you can win a law case or a legal case because of that. I just think there's an awful lot of these guys. Forget the guys that are big NIL earners. There's just a lot of guys that are never going to play pro sports. They're never going to make a lot of NIL money, but then they get to play 2 more years of college. I love the fact that JUCO may land there. I love that.
Well, I love that the Reggie Nelsons of the world and the other guys, if they make grades, don't lose those years, right?
Yes.
Cam Newton, Reggie Nelson, so many guys at Florida State, Miami over the years where we've seen really talented kids who came from tough backgrounds. And I think those are the guys that would really get penalized. And so,
I do too.
If we want to keep guys in school, we want to get people growing. I mean, you still got to go to class and you still got to get grades at the JUCO and do stuff. So to me, that's just going to help create better people. So I'm for it.
Expanding it out further, do you foresee a future where I'm going to take Joey Slackman as the example here, who plays at Florida, transferred in. He's never been in JUCO. He's been at a college all 4 years. His eligibility is expired. He participated in UF's Pro Day today. So obviously he's going to try to attempt a pro career. But somebody like that who isn't a college star, and probably if he had eligibility wouldn't even stay at Florida, who knows, but certainly didn't do a whole lot last season before he got hurt. Do you foresee a scenario in years to come where a player like that could sue and say, I don't have much of a pro career ahead of me, but Marshall is willing to pay me $125,000 to go play for them next year, but my eligibility is out. I am suing to have unlimited eligibility so that I can always earn a living doing this and never have to be expunged from, being a student athlete who can go and earn money athletically and continue to get his master's and doctorate and whatever he wants to do academically.
I get where you're coming from on it. I think it's just too far afoul. I think the courts are still going to say, hey, you can have this core of these eligibility rules. We're going to make them stick. I've said for a long time, you guys know what do you think was probably the biggest deterring factor from the college playoff system?
I don't know what you mean. Where are you going with it? What do you mean?
The NFL. They didn't want another playoff system that was out there, right?
Well,
and nobody could viably, challenge them from an antitrust type of a thing. And I don't think the NFL would want to see that happen out there. And I think there's enough precedence that with the eligibility rules, it would be there. Guys are going to have an opportunity to make money, but I think the JUCO will be as far as we see it to go. But I don't know that you're going to want to go out and see this whole other class of guys who are just sort of like, it's all our dream, right? Like if I joked to my mom one time, so if I went and got an MBA and then I got a medical degree and I just did it, the student loans would never come up and I could just be a student for life. But, I don't think we're going to see that happen, within amateur, it's not amateur sports and we know that, but I think it's still going to be limited to, 5 years to play 4.
Yeah, I think it would change the culture too much. Now, legally, you might have a good case to Hays' point. Why are you keeping me from playing? But my guess is you could possibly and would possibly change. You would change the paradigm too drastically if all of a sudden you have 32-year-old guys playing at Florida there for their 10th year.
Right, and it's I think this has been a great tournament. The ratings are really high. So the NIL impact hadn't been as bad. I thought the playoff was good. If there's one thing that people comment to me about the topics we talk here, they hate the ETNs going to Georgia or the Carson Becks going to Miami. And I think in the long term, it's not a legal thing. I just think that would be something to undermine it because, little different than pro sports. As a general rule, the guys who were Gators, the guys who were Knowles, and the guys who were Canes. And so I think there's a little bit of a brand protection, from that respect. So
Brett Hastings, great work. Were you watching the Gators at home having a big party again? Another big party?
No, it's going to be low.
Very quiet at the compound tonight.
I'll tell you what though, the strings wings were amazing.
Yeah.
We went with the nakeds and then we went with the dry rubs. And the dry rubs were gone in like 12, 13 minutes. So that's what you want to go with.
They party at the compound. Make sure you know that. Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. That's Sports, of course. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Hays Carlyon has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here.
These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Catch Gators basketball on 1010XL.
The Gators trip to the top makes a stop at the Sweet 16, Florida, Maryland. Tonight at 7:30 on 1010 AM.
Mia here. It's that time again. The Ready, Set, Go sales event is back and going on now at Arlington Toyota. Just announced, 0% on select new Toyota models has been extended. 0%. You can even get financing as low as 1.99% on select new trucks. Arlington has over 80 Tacomas and over 75 Tundras available. Shop the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota now through March 31st. In person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295 or at arlingtontoyota.com.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Listen up, poker players. March is heating up at all 3 Best Bet locations. The Bad Beat jackpots are now uncapped, soaring to new heights. So don't miss your chance to win big. Plus, get in on the $42,000 weekend windfall, featuring $1,000 high hands every Friday and $500 high hands on Saturdays. And starting March 3rd, the Race to a Race promotion is back. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
One of the best things about being on the First Coast is standing at the center of the golf world. Yes, it is. Brunch with a Tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info. Brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation. 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hacker here, thinking I did something spectacular, dropping 123 pounds. But then Steve pops in and dropped a whopping 150 pounds with Awaken 180 weight loss.
I got started because I was sick and tired of just being sick and tired all the time. Wanted more from life, and I knew that at my size, I wasn't being who I could be, who I want to be for not only myself, but for my wife. And I was like, something has got to change, and it's got to start soon. I mean, the program is so easy. Everything is really written down for you on your first day. Having someone there to help you and also keep you accountable, just having that someone to talk to, and even the fact that Awaken 180 offers free maintenance for life is amazing because keeping the weight off is a lifetime commitment.
A lifetime commitment is what you'll receive with Awaken 180. 25 pounds like Dempsey, 40 pounds like Matt Hays, or maybe it's over 100 pounds like Steve and me. Awaken 180 will get you there online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
It's March Madness, and your office needs a champion. Advanced Business Solutions teams up with Xerox to bring you copiers that never miss a shot. Fast, reliable, and ready to handle the pressure. Make the winning play for your business. Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions, where your business goes for the win. Locally and veteran-owned.
Print documents and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here, as is JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with college basketball. The Gators face Maryland tonight in the Sweet 16 in the West region. The Gators, the top seed. The Terrapins, the 4 seed. Give me your confidence level and a prediction.
I am confident Florida's going to beat Maryland. That is not a knock on Maryland. I think they're very good, but I think Florida's the number 1 seed for a reason. I think they're one of the best teams in the country. I think Florida's going to win, and I think they're going to cover the number. I think Florida's going to win that game 83-71. I don't think they're beating them 85-55, but I don't think it's going to be a Walt 3 at the buzzer to beat them. Look, you get to the final, you get to the Sweet 16, the last 16 teams standing, and particularly when there's nobody beyond a 10 seed playing, that means you have 16 good teams. So anybody can win this. There's no surprises. There's no shocking losses anymore, in my opinion. So Maryland absolutely could beat Florida. They've got a good program, but I think Florida's the number 1 for a reason. I think they have gotten beyond the tense game, the uptight game, the intangibles game where UConn had all the intangibles. Now it's just who goes and plays better, and I think Florida's going to. I'm very confident Florida will win. I'll say this, no lose, and I'll be the biggest dummy in town. But you asked me my confidence level. I think Florida's going to beat Maryland.
In the other game in the West region tonight, following Gators Terrapins, Texas Tech, the 3 seed, takes on Arkansas, the 10 seed. Really the only double-digit seed remaining in this thing. Does that one get dicey? What kind of a game are you expecting there? I
think Arkansas they are fueled by how they've played of late, and for that reason will play very well down early in this game. But I think Texas Tech's really good. They're a 3 for a reason, just like I said about Florida a moment ago. I don't know that you're going to see a lot of upsets. I think you're going to see those 1s, those 2s, and those 3s play very well on into Saturday and Sunday.
I'll just ask you then in the East region who you're pulling for, and we'll start with top-seeded Duke versus 4th-seeded Arizona. Who do you hope wins tonight?
Arizona. Get Duke out of there. I'm trying to win a national title. You see my hat, Hayes? I'm trying to win a title around here. I'm rooting for Arizona.
All right. How about BYU, Alabama?
You know what? I'm rooting for Alabama, even though BYU is the lower-seeded team. I think Alabama can beat Duke. I don't know that anybody else can. I don't know that BYU can. I think Alabama, because if you get in one of those track meets with Alabama can score with you, and Duke likes to run up and down the court. Now, Duke's really good. I certainly wouldn't bet on it, but I'm an SEC homer now. I'm locked into my SEC homerdom. I'm going to be rooting for. I don't know that I'll root for Auburn only because I wouldn't mind them being eliminated because they're really good. But I'm kind of pulling for some of these SECs, to be honest with you.
We touched on this yesterday, but the buzz that's sort of circling in the inner circle of college basketball is this revenue sharing and how it might give the Big East a big advantage to dominate in college basketball because of the revenue sharing where schools are opting in and they're willing to give $20 million to student athletes. So a lot of these Big East schools either don't have football or don't prioritize football. Like UConn, I think, still has football, but it's not prioritized. But schools like St. John's, Creighton, Marquette, Villanova, Xavier, Georgetown. Could we see the Big East really almost become what the SEC has become this year, where everybody in the Big East loaded with all this money, they're not giving it to quarterbacks and linebackers and running backs? And do you see the Big East surging once this revenue sharing goes into place?
The point you made yesterday is such a good point that I had not thought about. To break down what Hays just said, with the House settlement, schools now will be able to hand out $20 million to its athletes. Every school can do it. If a Big East school like Villanova, St. John's can raise, you got to come up with the 20. But if they can build a budget to where they have the 20 million, and everybody sticks to the rules and nobody goes beyond the 20, well, the football schools are going to give 12 or 13 to the football to football, and 5 or 6 to men's basketball, and then 2 or 3 to everybody else. Well, if you don't have football, do you then instead of giving 12 or 13 to football, instead of giving 12 or 13 to football, do you give 15 to basketball, while Alabama's only giving 5 to basketball? That's your question. If Villanova has $15 million a year in NIL to give to basketball, and Alabama's got 5, well, yeah, logic would say they're going to be ahead. And so I never thought about that till you said it. Now, the question, in the past, that number wouldn't have mattered because Villanova could not raise as much as Alabama. That's why. Florida was always going to have more money than St. John's. But if everybody's now paying out the same amount and you don't have to give a lot of it to football, Hays, it's a great point. And if this rule stays in place and 20 million is the number, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
Really will be. Let's get it to the NFL draft. Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty is skipping the 40. Didn't run it at the combine, didn't run it at his pro day. He did some running back drills, but didn't really do a lot of athletic testing. Would that bother you at all? Does it bother you if a prospect elects not to do the vast majority of the athletic testing?
It depends on who the prospect is. Ashton Jeanty, no. I've seen enough. I've seen enough tape. I'm still a big believer, bigger than ever, by the way, but I was always a believer that productivity and production matter way more to me than how somebody does on their testing. So, no. Now, if it's a mid-level guy, if it's a guy like Ted McMillan that there was real question about his speed, then I want to see him to run. But big picture, by and large, no, it does not bother me at all.
I thought it was kind of a mistake just because he's a running back. Like, I've got no problem if Travis Hunter, didn't want to test, or Abdul Carter. And it perfectly healthy, and Jeanty's healthy. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with them not testing. But when you play a position that I get they had a little bit of a resurgence last year, but they still haven't had the draft resurgence, right? Where teams have proven they're willing to take these guys in the top 10 of the draft. So I thought it was kind of a mistake for Jeanty just because you are getting this top 10 buzz. Why not do everything if you're healthy just to not even make it be an issue?
And a guy not running is sending up a flag that he doesn't run well. And I get that. But he's one guy that, look, by and large, I agree with what you said. I agree conceptually with everything you just said. But he's one of the few guys, I watched him now. I'm not worried about Ashton Jeanty.
I'll tell you another guy that runs well, and that is Des Watson.
Oh, you kidding me?
Lit up
he picks them up and puts them down is what he does.
He lit up Florida's pro day today. Big Des checks in at 6'6", 464 pounds. I'd laugh at that, but he had a 25-inch vertical, which I know I can't touch. He also did a whopping 36 bench reps at 225 pounds, which would have been the most of any player that was invited to the combine. Watson was not because he's 120 pounds overweight. But in looking at it, Des Watson, do you take a flyer in the 7th round on this guy, or is it just a total lost cause?
Well, here's the question: he had trouble holding up in a college season, which is 12 games. Can you hold up in an NFL season, which is 17 games plus 3 preseason games, and the rookies are playing in the preseason games? Does he lose weight in an NFL training camp, which he's never been in before? But yeah, he's gonna be on someone's NFL team. I mean, it's bizarre to see a guy 460 pounds. The
heaviest NFL player, I believe, is 380.
Okay.
So he is a good
pounds.
84 pounds heavier than the heaviest player in the league right now.
But he does move well. I mean, it's not a myth.
He did run the 40. He ran like a 5.69. He ran a very similar time to Restrepo at Miami.
I saw somebody had that online. That was funny. Honestly, I think the answer to that question is I don't think he's in good enough shape to play in the National Football League. But there's no doubt in my mind somebody, even if you don't draft him, somebody brings him to camp. Look, he moves okay for a 460 guy. Problem is he's 460. I don't know he can hold up.
It's just amazing that no one was ever able to reach him there and say, if you would just slim down a little bit, you might have a real chance to be a dominant player. I mean, who knows what he would be at 380?
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
But here's what I can tell you. Probably pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, because he's not terrible at 460.
It's really amazing. But we'll see what happens with Des Watson moving forward. Oklahoma State will induct former Jaguar receiver Justin Blackmon into its Ring of Honor. Blackmon will become the 6th Cowboy to earn that distinction. The 35-year-old Blackmon was selected 5th overall in the 2012 draft. He only played 20 games before substance abuse issues led to a suspension that is still ongoing. Technically, Blackmon is still a Jaguar. I guess I shouldn't call him a former Jaguar. He is technically still on the roster.
I didn't know that.
So is R.J. Sauer. They're just suspended. Blackmon caught 93 passes for 1,280 yards and 6 touchdowns in his 20-game career as a Jaguar. Frank, what would he have been if he had been able to stay on the straight and narrow?
What? Because he was a physical. He attacked the ball, man. He was a nasty receiver. There's nasty players at a lot of positions in the NFL, not at receiver. I think he was headed to physical, tough. He attacked the ball. I mean, really attacked the ball. Get through there!
Oh,
Get through there! Wave him! You got to wave him! We take the lead. Okay, sorry. Sorry, where was I?
No, you're
my boss. So,
what would we have over there? 1-0
R.J.
Pirates?
Sauer or Jimmy Smith?
Yeah.
I know we're talking about.
I'll move on because we're going to Major League Baseball next anyway. So
take a lead. Okay, I'm good. I'm sorry.
What's going on?
I apologize.
No. Now we're in the world of Major League Baseball.
Pirates have just taken a 2-1 lead over the Marlins. 2 outstanding World Series contestants.
Wow.
Here
the Pirates scored 2 runs for Paul Skeens. Is that the most in his career?
They had been no hit through 5 innings. Okay, so there you go. Brian Reynolds, the one good player on the team, knocked in a couple runs.
Is Skeens still in the game?
He is still in the game.
So he can get the win.
He can get the win.
If this holds.
Imagine
all right.
That. Go figure.
Go Paul Skeens.
Sorry about that.
Where
were we?
You guys gave us your World Series picks yesterday. So now I'm going to ask you for your MVP and Cy Young picks, if you have them, for the NL and the AL.
Okay, well, the NL is going to be hard. Skeens and Ohtani. Okay.
Is Ohtani, he's back to pitching?
He will. No. You said MVP and Cy Young.
Oh, I got you.
Skeens, Cy Young.
Okay.
Ohtani, MVP.
Ohtani will be pitching this year.
Yeah, he will.
Okay.
But I think he's going to be the MVP, and I think Skeens is going to win the Cy Young.
Gotcha.
In the American League, I don't follow it closely enough, so I'd have to think about that. JJ, bail me out here. Who do you like in the American League?
I like Skubal again.
Yeah.
I mean, he's super young. He's a lefty. He was unhittable last year, and he plays in this ballpark that is not going to give up any runs, like home runs. So, yeah, I'll go with Skubal for a second straight.
All right.
And MVP, let's go with Ronald Acuna Jr., even though it's going to be Ohtani in the National League. I'll go with Ronald.
Love it. Very good. In the world of golf, Scotty Scheffler and reigning Players champion Rory McIlroy are in the field this week at the Houston Open for what would likely be their final Masters tune-up. I doubt they'll play this week and next week before getting to Augusta. McIlroy was in the morning group. He shot even par 70. Scheffler is playing right now. He was 1 under through 10. Last I checked about 15 minutes ago, so a pretty solid round. Ryan Gerard leads at 5 under. He's actually in a group of guys at 5 under. He's done for the day. But kind of cool if you're looking to watch Rory and Scotty. They are playing this weekend, and it looks like they're going to make the cut and play into the weekend with a pretty solid day tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be fun? We've said it. Scotty's going to bounce back. We all know that. Wouldn't it be fun if Rory McIlroy really, if what we're starting to see, 2 wins, a win at Pebble, a win here, is the starting of something really special? Wouldn't that be? I mean, his charisma, his recognizability, his style of play, those long bombs off the tee. He handles press conferences, I think, so well. I'm a big fan. I how good would it be for? And Scheffler's coming back. I love the point you made with Lee Smith earlier that Justin Thomas looks like he might be bouncing back. It looked. I wasn't sure he was ever going to bounce back. I think ever since I've said that, he's been playing great. Wouldn't it be great if the names you know the best, really know the best, know the most well-known guys, really factor throughout the major season? I would love it.
Yeah, absolutely, because it was great seeing Hovland. If you're a PGA Tour loyalist, which we are, it was great seeing Hovland, because I worried with the swing change, would he ever come back?
Yeah.
And
I think he wondered.
Yeah,
He even kinda said
still
that.
seems like he kind of is, but at least to Lee Smith's point, he has so much ability that he's able to go win at a really tough course at Copperhead. So that looks good. We've seen Colin Morikawa do some good things this year in terms of a couple runner-ups. So yeah, you're seeing the stars of the PGA Tour getting off to really good starts with the 4 majors still to come. So it's exciting. Frank, how about we get it to the world of food? Would you be in favor of that?
Wait a minute. You're telling me I get baseball, golf, and food in the same headlines?
How about
maybe
this?
the greatest headlines ever.
Because it is a week of celebration if you're an American, because on this date back in 1995, Pizza Hut introduces the stuffed crust pizza.
Let me tell you why that was so significant. Number one, it tastes fantastic. But that thin crust, remember you get the top of your mouth, you burn it, and it would stay burnt. It would form in the top underneath your front teeth, and it would burn, and it would stay like that for about 12 years.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was just awful. I loved pizza. So you had to get rid of that because it was a danger to your health. So I will say stuffed crust pizza is way healthier. Because you don't have that thing that burn. You know the burn I'm talking about right there on the top of the mouth. It's no good. And now you don't have to deal with that. Who doesn't love stuffed crust pizza?
The stuffed crust pizza.
By the way, just the fact that you found that, the research you put into this program.
No stone is left unturned here.
None.
To me, it's air conditioning. It's the wheel. It's stuffed crust pizza.
Absolutely.
Those are very high up there. In the world of pop culture, we're going to celebrate another anniversary because this week, back in 1972. The Godfather released in theaters. The film is considered one of the greatest ever made. The Godfather won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Marlon Brando, and Best Adapted Screenplay. What a movie. If you've never watched The Godfather, put that high up on your list.
Of all the mob movies, that one was the most, and Goodfellas included, the most mobbish. And mob movies have been gigantic hits. Mob movies is certainly a category that unto its own, but that's the most mobbish.
It felt more realistic than the others.
Yes. The first Godfather. It really did. It really did.
Yeah, it's an incredible film. It really, it's one of those movies too. It gets better the more you watch it because there's so many characters that the more you watch it, you get more familiar with everything. But it's a masterpiece of American cinema. We will get you out on our musical nugget of the day. We're going to celebrate another anniversary. Why not? Because this week, back in 1985, Prince wins an Academy Award for Best Original Song for Purple Rain. Prince sold over 100 million albums worldwide and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. Unfortunately, Prince died in 2016 at the age of 57. He may be the artist I miss the most. Of all the guys that would probably still be touring today and producing music, boy, that would be something to be able to go see Prince at a stadium now. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that chance, but we do have a unbelievable catalog of music. Purple Rain right at the top of that list.
What an iconic song. You have a favorite Prince song?
Little Red Corvette.
Yeah, mine's probably Raspberry Beret.
Yeah,
but what an iconic song.
Oh, without a doubt.
Song. Great work as always. Great headlines. Back to wrap the program.
You say you want a leader, but you can't seem to make up your mind.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major League Baseball, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge, the betting favorite to lead the majors in home runs this season. Judge is at plus 300. Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers is at plus 500. Kyle Schwarber plus 1,000 to lead the league in home runs. Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 1,600. Pete Alonso and Yordan Alvarez both at plus 1,800. Luis Arraez of the Miami Marlins is the betting favorite to be the regular season hits leader. He is at plus 600. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals plus 700. +300. Trey Turner and Vladimir Guerrero both at +1200 to lead the league in hits. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010 XL.
Florida heat is no joke. Is your air conditioner ready for it? At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Years ago, when Harold & Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. It's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because the bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home. This is where our families are. This is where our friends are. And this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010 XL.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold. Whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, or Goose Island or Bud Light Seltzer, dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010 XL. Pitched by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. Are you tired of wrestling with your old shower curtain? Then say goodbye to the curtain chaos and hello to a new frameless shower enclosure. Wago Glass is clear, classy, and won't stick to you like a toddler at bedtime. Plus, it makes your bathroom look bigger and brighter. Upgrade your shower experience and step into style. Call me at Baker Glass and get ready to love your new glass shower enclosure. Baker Glass, no one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. Dylan Denmark here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to and should be yours. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been in the course of the program today? You know, we've talked a little bit of hoop. We'll talk a little bit more in a little bit, but Chris Harry stopped by. He is from FloridaGators.com. Does a fantastic job covering the Gators. He's on the road in San Francisco with Florida's team, and he talked all about tonight's game against Maryland. We talked about that. Lee Smith was on to talk about the tour and the fact that we're getting closer and closer to Augusta. What does that mean for the players playing right now? Brett Hastings stops by. A good addition to Sports and Courts. Diego Pavia. Will he be the guy that makes junior colleges not count against your college eligibility? That's he's at least right now he got an injunction, so he's continuing to play. And Hayes did a great job of headlines as always, and that's where we've been over the course of the program today. We are inside of 2 hours. Hays Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School. Do you realize that? Inside of 2 hours.
Can't wait.
It's 7:39 tip. It's 5:41. So we are 2 minutes inside. I'm really excited about this. I got my new hat. I got the hat that, again, the boss gave us all. Really nice Florida basketball. All the Gator fans in the room, in the building. There's a bunch of us got Florida, not just Florida basketball hats.
Should you risk new attire at this point?
Yeah. There's no question. That's a very fair point, and it's something we have to think through.
Like maybe next year I'll wear it.
Yeah. Something we certainly have to consider. But I don't know
when
that
Olivier Ryu is averaging 19 points and 27 rebounds a game.
Is that the 7?
It's the 7-9.
Oh goodness! But I'm really excited about the game. All right, so we got about 5 minutes here. What do you think is going to happen tonight? What do you think the game's going to be?
I think very tight at the half. I'll say Florida up 2 at the half, but Maryland really with more of the momentum. The game's in their favor. I think Chris Harry laid it out exactly how it's going to go. I think Maryland will hang around. I think they could even win the first 30, but I think that last 10, Florida's depth is going to shine through. I just think if you rely on 5 players in the NCAA tournament, you're asking for disaster eventually against a team that's got 8 or 9 guys that they feel very comfortable playing. And so I just think Florida's depth is too much. I'm with you. I think they've got a much clearer mind facing Maryland, who's got no cachet compared to what UConn had. And Frank Frangie is going wild. And everybody's gonna have to start watching the YouTube stream when the Pirates are playing. Be careful. You don't want to blow out that elbow and shoulder.
Sorry.
That was a lot of
might have left the yard.
Yeah.
4-1 Buccos. Please continue.
How about that? So I like the Gators tonight. I think they pull away late. I like your margin. I'll say Florida wins. I'll say by 11. So I'll say Florida 87, Maryland 76.
Yeah, the way I see this is, and listen, we've made a big deal about how Florida's got the depth. I'm not sure Maryland's first 5 are better than Florida's first 5. I think Maryland's first 5 are very good. I think Florida's first 5 are very good. Florida just happens to have decent backups too. So. So for me, I feel like Florida's got a better team. Now look, and again, I've said this so much that I'm so confident that it sounds like I'm suggesting that Maryland's not a good team. Maryland's good. Maryland, you don't get you look at their season. They've won 7 of their last 8 or 8 of their last 9, somewhere thereabout, and the only loss was a buzzer beater to Michigan. So I mean, Maryland's got a good team, and Maryland's earned their way here.
They're 10-2 in their last 12.
Yeah, they have a very good team, and you doggone right, they've absolutely earned it. So they are extremely good. So So you're playing a good team here, but the bottom line is that I think this is a really special Florida team. I think it's a very good Florida team, and I think the Gators are going to win. I won't say I said comfortably is the wrong phrase, Hays. They're not winning this thing 85-50, but I think I would be surprised if it comes down to the other day where there's a minute 3 left and you don't know who's going to win the game. I could be wrong, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Things that Maryland doesn't do particularly well. They're not a strong rebounding team compared to Florida, so that's definitely something to watch for. And again, the fatigue factor with Derek Queen, just being a freshman, obviously he's incredibly talented, and we know he's a clutch player for the buzzer beater against Colorado State. But it is tough when the opponent can throw 4 different bigs at you, because chances are one of those guys is going to bother you, if not multiple. And so that'll be the chess match tonight between Todd Golden and Kevin Willard. Obviously, we know Golden was going to start Chinlilu and Condon. But how much Hauk and Han Logden match up on Queen, who's by far their best player. They do have a very talented starting 5. But it's hard to see a path to victory for Maryland if Derek Queen does not have a particularly effective game. Again, this is a 53% shooter from the field. He's 16.2 points per game. He's 9.1 rebounds. So if Florida can find the right mix, and Chris Harry, again, brought up a really good point. How much can they make him work defensively, chasing guys around? That is going to be very intriguing as well. And so I think Maryland kind of has to have a perfect game to win. I don't think Florida necessarily has to have that.
Now, if let's look at the other side and the result possibilities. If they win, obviously they play Texas Tech or Arkansas. They're 1 game away from San Antonio. If they lose, how devastating, how disappointing, how disappointed is Gator Nation if they lose this game?
I don't think. I mean, obviously there's disappointment because it's been such an incredible run, and you're sad to see it end. But I don't know how there can be any anger if they lose tonight. I mean, it's been a remarkable season. They've won 32 games. They've won the SEC tournament for just the 5th time ever. They did get to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017. So Todd Golden has answered every question that I think people had for him this year, which is, can you continue to show involvement in your program? And he's done that. They were great offensively last year, but they weren't great defensively. They fixed that. They've been outstanding on both ends of the court this year. So, and again, you'd be losing to a team in Maryland that's a national champion. They've done that in their history. They've got a nice tradition, and it would be their 28th win playing in the Big Ten, playing out of the Big Ten. That's no slouch. So obviously there's disappointment, but I don't know how anybody wakes up tomorrow with anything but just appreciation for where the basketball program appears to be headed under Todd Golden, because you've kind of brought me around on this. I thought they might be okay next year. Not great.
Right.
But look, I mean, depending on how it goes, they might be right back here next year as a 1 seed.
Yeah. Listen, once Bruce Pearl got it built at Auburn, and once Nate Oates got it built at Alabama, and once they got Rick Barnes got it built at Tennessee, they didn't go away. They've been good for 3-4 years now. That's how I think this will be. This will be Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn. There's now 4 of them. There were 3 of them. Now there's 4 of them in that league that are there. And I look. My gut tells me, the 3 guards are gone. That's 3 of your starters are going to be gone. There's no doubt that Condon's going to test the waters, as he should. I've seen him in the 20s now on some draft boards, and if you're going to be in the first round, you got to consider it. But Hauk is back, and Aberdeen is back, and Chinyalu is back, and Han Logden is back. And the 2 recruits they've got coming in are really good players, Lloyd and C.J. Ingram. And they're going to get a portal guy or 2. We now know that. We don't know how good they'll be, but there's no doubt they're getting one.
The early buzz is that the top guys in the portal, they're looking hard at Florida.
Yeah. So Florida's landing somebody of significance in the portal. So I am very confident that this thing's headed in the right direction. But I think they're going to win tonight. We'll see if they do or not. You never know. Again, I'll say it one more time. There's no more 15 or 16 or 14 seeds in this thing. There's no more upsets. Yeah, they're a 6.5-point favorite, and I've had some fun with some of my buddies giving them to 6.5. But the real reality is, These are all good teams now, buddy. They are all good teams, and there's no way of knowing who's going to win these games. So we'll see what winds up happening.
And keep in mind tonight, Florida's worst 10 minutes are usually the first 10. So, when they've lost, the 4 times they've lost this year, they've gotten down big. They've had to rally back from that. We know the stat. If Florida leads at the half, they're undefeated. So those are things to watch for. And if it's close with 8 minutes left in the game, you'd have to think with their depth, Florida is in a great position.
All right, let's say hello to Rick Below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Have you made are you going to make your pick tonight, or have you already done it?
What, Gators?
Yeah.
No, I got the Gators.
You got the Gators tonight, yeah. Comfortably, tight game, what do you think?
Maryland's got 5 guys.
Yeah, they're not deep.
They got nothing off the bench. Yeah. And we know that you shorten the bench once you get this time of year, but, the discrepancy last week was amazing. What was it, like 37 shots from the guards and only 13 inside for, Florida's big men? I don't think you can win game to game going that way, but I just have to believe that, all you have to do is get Maryland in some sort of foul trouble, and you could pull away in this game.
Yeah, it'll be very well. That's right. If that happens, you're exactly right. So we'll see what winds up happening. All right, very good. What's coming up? What are you doing on your show now? You're going to be talking about the game. You'll
Pat Kennedy's going to join me.
How good is that?
It's going to be fun. Pat and I are going to talk about all the Bud Lights we drank in Tallahassee.
Right.
And if I had $10 for every one of those, I'd be a retired millionaire.
I love the Pat Kennedy. I thought you and Pat Kennedy were good buddies.
Oh, he's the greatest of all. I mean, I love Bobby Bowden, but Bobby was a fatherly figure. Pat was a buddy.
Yeah,
and no one holds court like Pat Kennedy now.
Rick, when I was at the Times Union for all those years, then for a while from 88 to 92, I did both radio and newspaper business. In March of 93, I resigned from the Times Union, went to radio full time. My first guest on my first ever show was Lon Kruger. Second day was Pat Kennedy. So he was the guest on my second day. Once I started full time radio, he was my second guest.
He always
he was great on air too.
Tennessee, UNLV, St. John's, Seton Hall. He was always in the process of the next job.
He was.
And I used to give him such a hard time about that. I'm like, why would you want to leave here? And you knew the reason why I wanted to leave there is because it was truly
they were better jobs.
It was a football school and it was a baseball school. But he was flawed as an in-game coach, but he recruited some talent, and he had some success there for years.
Great teams.
Yeah,
I can still remember. Tell me if I'm getting this wrong. FSU's first ever ACC game, they beat Carolina by 17 points.
Right?
Did you know that their first ever ACC game, the first game they ever played as a conference member? Charlie Ward, Sam Cassell, Doug Edwards, that team, Rodney Dobard. They beat North Carolina by 17 points.
And then Sammy Cassell called them a wine and cheese crowd. They were up 21 and they lost.
I didn't that part. I didn't
Greatest thing when I went to Chicago, they brought me in for a Cincinnati DePaul game.
Right.
And that was the great Cincinnati team with Kenya Martin and Bobby Huggins on the sideline. And I got off the airplane. They brought me there. DePaul had like a 17-point lead.
Right.
Before you knew it, that lead was surrendered. Cincinnati went on to win that game. And I was like,
I will tell you this before you go. And Hays, we're so Gator-centric. We talk about all these Gator teams of the past. Charlie Ward, Sam Cassell, Bob Sura, Rodney Dobard, Doug Edwards. That was a starting 5.
Fantastic.
That team was a really good team. I like really good team.
Yep, no
really
doubt. So we'll break down tonight's game about the University of Florida and obviously Maryland, and also get his opinion on Duke, which plays tonight. So looking forward to the conversation with Pat Kennedy.
Rick Ballou goes into the night. That'll be terrific. I will be listening. Folks, that'll do it for our program. Gator basketball tonight. Hopefully they get it done. Tomorrow we'll be talking about it. Win or lose, we'll be here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't go anywhere. Rick's next. For Hays and JJ,